there, I am Melissa Klein, and I'm in here in my little home studio, aka my kitchen. And yes, this is how I often work. I do have actually a real studio, but it's not as warm and it doesn't have as much food as my kitchen. So, at any rate, here I just wanted to show you like a basic setup that I use for taking photographs of small work, and that's my dog under there. But I've also wanted to point out to you this little step ladder, which is extremely important for what I'm going to show you. And I also use a tripod that I've attached to the ceiling. And these are some of my work lights, more for when I'm doing demos and shooting at night for my classes and that kind of stuff. But that kind of gives you an idea of how I go about lighting. Right now I have no lights on in the room, but I do have a north-facing window, and that is really excellent for just natural light. Is by far the best light that you can take photographs by. And I'm also going to show you how to photograph outside as well. But I just wanted to start inside because that's usually the nicest, warmest, least rainy option, especially in the winter. And what I've done is I've assembled a few things, recent paintings that I've done for recent classes that I've taught, and they're all obviously different sizes. And I wanted to start out by saying, like, if you have many paintings to photograph, group everything by size, because that's just so much easier than where you pull away for the big one, you come in close for the next one. Sorry, I'm probably making you guys seasick. And, you know, it just makes your workflow a lot smoother. But in this case, I only have 3 to do this for you, and you don't need it. So it doesn't really matter which one you start with, but I tend to work from the smallest to the biggest. I'm not sure why that is. So I guess I'll continue that tradition. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you guys about is what I will not do is, like, first off, I'm going to position my painting so that I feel like the light is falling pretty evenly onto it. So it's sort of kind of lined up in between the square window panes. You know, I don't want to get it too close to there because then it's going to start to be something in shadow, or too far away. This seems to me like the most even light. Now I'm going to talk to you about what I'm not going to do. Okay. And I wish I could kind of click the picture and do the video at the same time. I'm not going to take my picture right now. Why? Because it looks like, you know, what I call the Star Wars effect. You know, in the beginning of Star Wars, where the credits are, where like everything's receding into space. I'm not going to do that because it's actually a square painting. It's square. It's square. But if I go like this, I have created a trapezoid, and I can't tell you how many people send me stuff that's like this. Okay, I know this is easy, but like it's totally distorted. Please don't do that. And so what I'll do is, this is where I get up on my ladder and make you guys really seasick as I get up on my ladder. And my goal is to get as directly over my piece as I possibly can. Sometimes what I'll do is I will actually put my piece on the floor, so that if it's just too big for that, to do it on the table. And then what I'll do is I just try to get as close as I can. I'm going to tap on the screen. I'm using an iPhone 7. I guess it's a few years old. It's still good. And it'll focus, you know. And so I want to try to get a good focus on there. I also am looking to tap on an area that's what I would call a mid-tone value. So maybe not the lightest light or the darkest dark. But somewhere in the middle, which I'm going to say is roughly that blue. I'm going to get as close as I can. And what I'm doing right now is I'm looking at the negative space around this piece. And I'm also trying to make sure I don't do left-right Star Wars effect as well. I know. Everybody's like, oh God, you know, feel like you should take some Dramamine before this. So I want to make sure that my camera is parallel to the plane of the table as much as possible. I want to make sure that I'm close to it. I also want to make sure I'm not too close so that if I need to straighten and crop things a little bit, I have a little bit of a margin of error. Because if I go like this close, then, and I want to crop it because maybe it's just a tiny bit off, well, there's not much to play with. So as close as I can, but still leave a little bit of a margin. Like I'd be taking several pictures like this right now. And I'm looking around to see like, okay, where is it? Making the space on the left, right equal. Is that like the top? See how if I just go like this, now along the top, it's larger, that space, and this bottom is smaller. I'm drawing it with my fingers on top of the screen. I'm like that. They can't see that. I'm looking at the space above and below. And I would take like several pictures because especially in the digital age, you can take all these pictures. I remember having to take slides of my work, and if for every slide it was like $1 by the time you produced it and paid for the film and blah, blah, blah. Now you can take tons of crappy digital photos and just, toss them. Oh, one other point too is this is square format. So I would be putting my camera setting onto the square format for that.